If a coach, team wants to review a penalty or play that they feel should have been penalized, and they're wrong or do not get a play overturned, they should be penalized 15 yards and loss of down for delay of game. I think this would cut down on challenges on ticky-tack calls and would lead to challenges only being used for obvious calls. Example, 3rd and 10 at the opponent's 35. QB throws a jump ball, there's some incidental contact on an incomplete pass. The coach could challenge the play. If he's right, he gets the first down at the spot of the foul. If he's wrong, the ball gets pushed back to the 50 where the opponents will now take over from the loss of down. It would really limit the challenges to only obvious clear-cut mistakes. And that is what the ultimate goal of the rule is. Do you think making an amendment like that would be a good idea? FYI. This is a system that the NHL already uses. If you challenge an offside or if a player is using an illegal stick upon review they're wrong, the team receives a 2-minute penalty. The penalty for an incorrect challenge remains as it always has been, loss of a timeout, whether it's a traditional challenge or the newly added areas of pass interference. At this point I don't see the need for more of a hindrance than that. Coaches still only get 2 challenges and need a timeout in order to use them. And under 2 minutes, the review will be called for by the booth. I don't think there will be this onslaught of challenged pass interference calls that some are fearing. But we'll have to watch it play out for a year to see how it goes and if there are any unforeseen issues with his much-needed rule change. Hello, do you think there is any possibility of the Pats trading for Mohamed Sanu? What might the cost be? Are there any other decent pass catchers out there who may be available? I've read Cincy is open to trading John Brown but he seems like a bust. Just wondering, thanks. I do think the trade for a veteran receiver is a very real possibility for the Patriots, maybe even between now and the draft later this month. Sanu is a guy proven to be durable and productive, having topped 59 catches in each of his last 3 seasons in Atlanta. The Falcons have Julio Jones and impressive youngster Calvin Ridley, so moving on from Sanu and his $7+ million cap figure isn't crazy talk. His number isn't too big for a receiver-needy team like the Patriots, though. As for the Bengals, I think you are referencing John Ross, the former first-round pick who's been hurt and a disappointment in Cincy. I'd rather have Sanu for his ready-now potential, but regardless of the name I do think the Patriots need to make a move for a possible impact option at receiver. Yes, Brady is getting up there and will retire in the next few years, but does the team really need to draft his replacement now? Everyone keeps saying they need to pick the heir apparent, even trade for Josh Rosen to serve as backup and replacement someday. But as we saw with Jimmy G, the heir apparent can get impatient and get to a point where it's not financially feasible to keep them around. Drafting the heir worked for the Packers, where Rodgers sat for a couple years, but would that same scenario work nowadays? Also, Favre stayed longer than originally planned and it resulted in a situation where the Packers were forced to trade Favre to start Rodgers. Also, without knowing what Belichick is going to do, would he really want to use a draft pick on a franchise QB? If he retires when Brady does, that wouldn't be a good use of a pick. Whoever takes over as the next coach would want their own guy under center. If it is to be McDaniels, which I don't think it will be, then he could want his QB on the roster now to start grooming, but what if it's not McDaniels? Anyone new would want to draft their own guy and really not have any of Bill's fingerprints on the team. It seems that a better use of the draft picks during the last years of Brady's time would be to get players that can help get more Super Bowl rings. Lots of specific questions here regarding the umbrella debate of whether the Patriots need to pursue Brady's possible replacement this offseason. While I don't think there is a major rush, I do believe that if the team really likes a QB in the draft or via reasonable trade it should pull the trigger. Having talent at the quarterback position is never a bad thing. New England thought Jimmy Garoppolo was a starting caliber player and took him in the second round. Despite wasting that pick, the Patriots won the Super Bowl that very year. The backup QB proved valuable on the field for a short time and then was traded away when his contract was coming up. He was insurance and also recouped the investment. Brady is now older and closer to the end. Certainly the team has many needs to fill in the draft, but if the right guy is there, I would take a QB without hesitation. Can never have enough QB talent. Considering the fact that the Patriots play worse in Miami because of the heat, what will the Patriots do to prepare for the Super Bowl, which is being held in Miami? Will they train more in the heat? This is my favorite email of the week. Just gonna leave it right here. No response needed.